These attacks, again, they are completely and totally unnecessary. They're reflective of hate and really just wanting to pigeonhole our society into one type of person that will be uplifted and that will be praised, but is not truly reflective of the breadth of diversity and beauty that is within our society. It's just, again, it's extremely distressing, but we're seeing a lot of brands that are capitulating to it, unfortunately, and not necessarily pushing back. And as we understand, Target did end up pulling some of its merchandise in some of the stores. And as much as people had said that Target really seemed to give in, then I believe there were Target team members who are of the queer community who said actually they're putting us in a position where they're now protecting us because they don't want these individuals to come into these stores. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, Benny, on did you see this situation with Target as more of Target giving in, much like Bud Light did, or did you see it more as a protective measure or something else?
I definitely saw it as giving in because, to be entirely honest, like Target is a big corporation. They have a high budget. They can afford to deal with things because fundamentally, we need to understand that at the root of all of this transphobic nonsense that these Republicans are pushing is a deeply anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. Quite literally, the whole line of grooming is something that comes directly out of Nazi Germany. What they unironically believe is that there's some secret group of Jewish people that is turning people gay and trans as part of a larger plot to replace white people. It is deeply, deeply unhinged, and it's also fundamentally dangerous because what we are seeing right now is the beginnings of this brown shirt movement across the country, quite literally using the exact same tactics. And if you capitulate to them, it creates this false sense of both power for them when they don't have it yet, and at the same time, it gives a sense of legitimacy to the claims that they're making about queer people across the board. And so fundamentally, we need to understand how dangerous these people are because they will not stop here. Because unfortunately, what we are seeing is we're seeing some of the same patterns of behavior that we saw, which led to the overturning of Roe v. Wade, which fundamentally was Democrats basically sitting around doing nothing, saying nothing as an issue becomes controversial. Well, unhinged right wingers literally commit terrorist attacks across the country. That's what they did when they were like bombing Planned Parenthoods and threatening doctors. Now they're doing the same thing. And so having corporations back down fundamentally endangers everybody. And so while I feel for the employees of individual targets, this is something that is far bigger than what I think most people realize.
Yes, in a particular store, absolutely. And it almost speaks to our society giving way to a certain demographic, just like we saw on 1/6, where a certain demographic was able to engage in all sorts of behavior that was not only illegal, but extremely problematic. We're seeing this in these videos where we have a certain demographic enjoying the ability to engage in these terroristic behaviors in a commercial space and not facing any real consequences. Marissa.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you brought that up, Benny, because this is all rooted in a campaign of mis and disinformation to villainize a group of people that these people are afraid of. The people in that video that you showed, Adrienne, they're all losers and they have way too much time on their hands to go into a Target and harass people and destroy a display. It just doesn't make any sense to me why these folks are doing this besides disinformation and misinformation.
Absolutely, and they know that they're going to get away with it, that any kind of prosecutorial takes on it will probably be very light-handed, and that they're going to end up generating a lot more fear and hatred than they're going to end up generating condemnation for their behavior, which is really scary. And I know we only have a few minutes left, and so I want to give you an opportunity, Benny in particular, if you would like to share any notes or any thoughts on Pride or the community or what efforts people can engage in to make meaningful change.
Yeah, look, I think the most important thing of Pride this year is that Pride is confrontational and extends far beyond June, because that is fundamentally what we need right now. These people are going out and they're harassing people in the streets. I mean, I literally got harassed by somebody in the streets just the other day, right? So fundamentally, what we need to do is we need to be bold. We need to be confrontational and we need to be clear because we have the majority. The overwhelming majority of people support trans people's right to exist. We just need to give people the power of social truth to recognize the reality that we do all agree that trans people should be allowed to exist. And these unhinged freaks that want to ban our existence are in the extreme minority. And we need to make sure that they know and feel like they are in the extreme minority on this issue.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Marissa.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Pride it extends beyond June. It's 365 days a year, and we need our allies to speak up. We need people to understand that this is a fight, and it's all year long, and we're not going to take rainbow capitalism. We need people to be loud. We need people to be there for us and support the LGBTQIA plus community all year.
Absolutely. And to those out there, you may not be trans, you may not be queer, but this is still your fight because all of the systems of oppression are intertwined. So if you're sitting here saying that doesn't impact me, you are so woefully wrong. And you're going to find out the hard way unless you use your voice and stand up now. Because once a particular group is targeted, then they move to the next and the next, and it's all interwoven, as Benny has mentioned. And the thing is we need more people to stand up and to actually take action. And so Benny, what can people do? Are you aware of any campaigns, any movements, any conversations that people really need to be plugged into?
Honestly, I would just find whatever local community group is like in your area that is showing up. Whenever these like right-wing brown shirt types try to show up at any type of like pride event or even like like gay bars, stuff like that. They've been organizing those protests. It is so important that we have lots of cisgender allies showing up that are willing to physically place themselves between the people who are trying to harass and exterminate trans people and queer people and the queer people who are just trying to exist in peace. So really, this has to be hyper local, and your community has to feel the presence of people who support trans people.
Absolutely, and don't be afraid to get involved. Like Benny said, putting yourself in between in the situation. I know we're not supposed to, support violence, but hey, sometimes it's like punching a Nazi. You just got to get in there and make it happen.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.